Hey everybody, this is Rashida Lee. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome as always. I'm so glad to have each and every one of you all stop by. It's such a blessing and an honor to be able to spend this time with you all. I love you so much. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it, right? I've been feeling lately like energies from our past lives are wanting to re-emerge. And the whole purpose of that occurring is to help us in this journey, to help us in this life, right? To remember who it is that we were, the things that we were doing in our past lives, right? Help us to recall what those actions were, who we were, what were the strengths and what were the weaknesses, so it can help us in this life, right? Because I feel like there's such a wave of energy when it comes to newness, but not necessarily having all of the pieces together when it comes to manifesting how to bring about that newness, right? So what are the missing pieces? I've already pre-shuffled the deck, so we're going to go ahead and jump into it, guys. So Spirit, could you make it abundantly clear as to who we were in a past life? Either in the most recent, okay, so that card flew out. Either in the most recent past life or previous lives. Could you make that abundantly clear, please? Okay, there's another card. At least one more. Uh-oh. All right, that one fell on the floor. Give me just a second. Okay, so let's jump into it. This one came out first. Ooh, galactic. Okay. So for this card, I'm feeling like the energy around it is saying, before you even arrived to this dimension, meaning to the earthly realm, you were a part of the galactic team. That whether you were with you are from the moon, or that your star family are with the Pleiadians, and so on, that you have a lot of cosmic energy that's within, right? So prior to you arriving here, you could have also been what they call a starseed baby, so meaning that you all are very, very bubbly. You have a lot of light surrounding you. You manifest things easily because you have the cosmic energy within. A lot of the times now in this life, when you step into a room, people say, oh my gosh, every time I see you, you just light up the entire room. Or when you smile, you just make my day better, right? So you were a part of the galactic team in a previous life in some form, whether, like I said, it was whether you were from the moon, you were a part of the original birth of the cosmos, or what they would consider to be the Big Bang. You could be a starseed baby, Arcturian, Pleiadian. And if you're not familiar with the Arcturians and Pleiadians, by all means, take your time to do your research on that. I don't have enough time to go into it right now. Maybe in a late video later on down the line, we can go more in depth to what the Arcturians and Pleiadians are. Okay. Communal living. All right. So from this, the feel is that you were in a position of high authority, to where you had to live in a space where it was a shared space, and people often went to you for advice, like you were a part of council, right? So you were the main go-to person when it came to how to operate day-to-day living. When it came to business practices, you were also the go-to person as well. You have in this life, you have a business that is made for, you have a mind that is made for business in this life, okay? If this card pertains to you, right? So even now, you have strategies that no one else has thought of, right? And that you may be struggling when it comes to how to implement this in a day-to-day business practices to simplify it. Okay, so the answer to that is ask your guides to help simplify it for you. You're right there on the cusp. Okay, if you haven't already simplified how to actually get those business strategies out there and to teach them to others, so that way it's presented in a way where it's like for dummies. You know how you have the book for dummies? There's anything that you can possibly think of, it's for dummies. You know, how to drive for dummies, how to build a house for dummies, right? So you're looking at it from that perspective of how can I put it in the most layman's of terms. But again, in the previous life, that's who you were. You were the main go-to person when it came to strategy. And you also have this presence about you now to where people feel like they resonate with you. They see a tad bit of themselves, if not all of themselves, within you, right? So this what made you the go-to person. Excuse me, guys. This is what made you the go-to person previously and now, because you have this aura about you to where people are like, listen, I feel this connection with you. You feel very familiar, you know, so that's why I feel like I can come to you with my problems. I feel like you, if nothing else, by you listening, it helps me to unlock some things within, right? So because of that, what you carried in a previous life when it came to this communal living and you being the person, the go-to person, you've carried that over to you in this life, or carried that over with you rather. My apologies. Father, okay, wow. The immediate feel behind this card is that some of you have a missing link when it comes to father. I'm going to go into the previous life in just a moment, but immediately what I'm hearing and what I'm feeling is that for this card, there's a missing link, whether you never had a connection with a father figure or that this father figure recently passed. And if that is the situation where they've recently passed, my condolences to you all. In a past life, you were a priest. Oh, wow. A priest, a minister. You were seen as this authority figure in the spiritual realm. Give me just a moment. Okay, I'm back with you all. My apologies. I'm getting over a really bad cough here. So actually, I'm currently taking steroids for it. I have asthma, so it has been a struggle this week. Keep me in your prayers, okay? So getting back to this card here, you were in your past life, you were seen as this, I don't necessarily want to say godly, but people reached out to you for spiritual advice, you know. So whether you were a man or a woman in a previous life, it doesn't really matter, but you were the go-to person when it came to how to ascend, or that spiritual enlightenment, right? Spiritual guidance. Okay. So even some of that rose over to you in this life, right? To where, you know, you may be on a mission, like where you've started a YouTube channel, or you're thinking about building your social media platforms around either spirituality, mental health, because that's big, and thank goodness that that's really coming to the forefront nowadays, to where people are advocating more for mental health and mental health awareness. Thank goodness, right? For so long, I feel like we had to really stuff that down in terms of how we were feeling, and actually put everything in a category, right? And stuff things down and suppress so much, but not nowadays. Okay, all right, I'm back with you. I just have this bad cough, and I am really trying to work through this because I feel like this message needs to get out, okay? But again, for the past life, in terms of what occurred, how it applies to you now, they've given some messages. I just want to go a little bit further into it, okay? To see if we can get some additional messages regarding that. Hold on, this card is already farm. Okay, that card was already turned over in the deck, by the way. So farm, okay. In a past life, some of you all may have actually been farmers. If you were not a farmer, then you were definitely connected to nature. In this life, there is a deep awareness and this deep longing for you all to be in nature, whether it's being in nature and you're working with animals like horses. You can actually work on a farm if you don't work specifically with horses. You can feel the need to be around greenery. I know that I moved from the West Coast, living in the desert, all the way to the East Coast, right? Because there was this deep longing for wanting to be, experience all four seasons, right? Because in Las Vegas, yeah, it's either hot or hotter, right? You get cold sometimes, but not that. But here in North Carolina, we have all four seasons, and the winters aren't too bad. So, but with that being said, moving here, I automatically felt like not only am I in the space that I'm supposed to be in, this is my energetic vibe, right? But I also felt like that this was uplifting for my spirit, that it actually calls for me to go deeper into a spiritual awakening. So with that being said, part of you all working in nature now, or if you don't work in nature, you being in nature now is helping you develop further when it comes to your spiritual gifts, awakening you, aligning you, and healing you. Okay? Let's see if we can get any more. Got this card fell out here. What is this? The arts. Wow. Okay. There we have it. Okay. So in a past life, not only were you artistic, but I'm feeling like you were a visionary, right? That you were able to see things before they manifested. And in the olden days, they would actually refer to that as prophecy, right? You were able to see things for yourself and to see, especially see things for others, and in terms of what would be best suited for them in their lives, right? And it was like you would have dreams about it. You would scribe about it. You may have even written a song in terms of how they should proceed with their life, but you were gifted with the vision of seeing things happen before they manifested. And again, for others, it was you were highly gifted in the arts. Some of you were really attached to string instruments. Wow, this is really beautiful. It's a lot of energy coming from this card. You were attached to string instruments, and maybe even the piano as well, but I'm feeling mainly a connection to the string. And so with that, every time you would play your instrument, it would feel like a direct connection rather to your heartstrings, and it would do something to move you, to open you up, right? And not only did it help you open up emotionally and unlock some things, it helped those who were around you to open up and unlock some things. So in this life, you are you're highly gifted in the arts, and Spirit's wanting you to focus in on that, because there's songs that need to be played. There's music that need to be heard that only you have the keys to unlocking. Not only unlocking some things within yourself and healing some things within yourself, but healing others. And so it's not just a small group like how you may have envisioned. This is like millions of people that you are going to touch their heartstrings when you play your music for them. Okay. So just know that. So Spirit is saying be more confident in that. Okay. I just want to pull one more card. Just one. Oh, okay, so we got two more cards. Thank you. Let's look at this. Oh my gosh, forgiveness. Forgiveness. So that forgiveness is big, right? It's really big. Oh wow. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Okay. So in a past life, you had a direct connection to the angelic realm, right? So some of you all may have felt like, oh, I'm from the angels, the city of angels. There was a movie that came out, I want to say during the late 90s, early 2000s, with Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan. And in the movie, Nicolas Cage, his character was a fallen angel. And he was so smitten by the character played by Meg Ryan that he decided to give up his angelic status so that he could be with Meg Ryan and so that he can experience what it was like to be human, right? So they lived their life for however long. I don't recall. It's been so long since I've seen the movie. But in the end, unfortunately, his character passed away once he became mortal, right? But during that time, he was so happy to experience what it was like to have this connection with the human side, but he also didn't forget about what it was like to be an angel. With all of that being said, you still feel what it was like to have that angelic connection, right? To the point where it's nagging at you, if that makes sense. And when you try to describe it to others, they label it as, oh, or they may label it rather as, oh, you're crazy. Well, no, you're not crazy. Some of us just, even when we're born, we never lose that innocence, that childlike innocence of ourselves when it comes to being close to the heavenly realms. With that being said, you have a tendency in this life to forgive others easily, right? And be rather upbeat. And Spirit is saying they want you to remember what it was like to have that intuitive nature about yourself, to have that knowing about yourself, and that you should always feel protected because you are always protected. Okay. You are protected. They just keep saying that over and over again. You are protected. Okay. The last card that we have is karmic relationship. Now let's talk about this. In a past life, you did have a strong connection to a romantic partner that was not fulfilled, right? And the feel behind that is that this relationship ended suddenly. Either it ended suddenly or it ended with either one of you feeling unfulfilled. And so, with that being said, it's left you in a state of, in this life, I need to find that person. Whoever this karmic person was, there are some soul lessons that were not learned in your previous life that need to be learned in order for you to move on. Because just know that this is a karmic relationship, meaning it's not meant to last forever, right? You need to let the story play out because you weren't able to have it fully fulfilled to the extent where the lesson was learned. Okay. And so there may be a person that's in your life now to where when you guys originally met, there was this automatic connection. I've known, like, you felt like you've known that person all your life. You know, you had deep, fiery chemistry, could be with each other all the time. But yet, no matter how much time you spent with this person in this life, you always felt like that there was something that was missing. There's some type of disconnect. Even though they're physically right in front of you, you feel like they're 1,000 miles away, right? And so Spirit is saying, hey, when I say Spirit, I'm talking about God, universe, creator, etc., right? Prime creator, source energy, however you refer to your higher power. They're saying to really hone in, what is it that has helped to elevate you on a personal level while dealing with this person, right? On an individual level, not a personal level, on an individual level, because essentially all karmic relationships, that is what their purpose is to help to elevate those individuals, right? To help them elevate, whether it's their love vibrations, their self-love vibrations, if it's them feeling healed, if it is them knowing that they are lovable, etc. What was the lesson? Knowing, maybe the lesson was, you don't have to waste your time. You just don't. You don't have to sit around and wait for this person forever and a day, Or maybe it was, hey, I realize that there's more to life, and I don't necessarily want to be in a committed relationship. So it's time for me to walk away. Jot it down. And if you feel the need after you've jotted it down to release that energy, you can burn it. You can tear up that piece of paper, throw it away. There are different ways of disposing that energy, but just ultimately release it. Okay. That's it for that card. So Spirit is saying one more. I knew it. I knew this was going to come up somehow. We have medicine man or woman. So, I'm hearing, wow, okay. Yeah. In a past life, either you were the medicine man or woman, whether it is from African bloodline, it can be from Hispanic bloodline, Indian, as in Native American bloodline. You have it there, right? And so, healed many in your village, in your tribe. With that being said, in this life, you are, you're coming more into the knowing of who you were in that past life scenario, and you maybe even having dreams about it. Could be at this present time studying herbs. If you're not already an herbalist, you could be, excuse me, going into the journey of metaphysical approaches of healing, such as Reiki energy healing. Excuse me. It could be wanting to do ayahuasca, right? Or taking a plant medicine journey, right? It is time for you to step in your your mode of being a healer on a full-time basis. And that's ultimately what the message is behind this card for your present life scenario. Okay. Alrighty, everybody, that is it. That's what I have for you guys. Again, I love you so much. If you have not already, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, okay? I love you all so much. Be sure to hit me up at rasheedralee@gmail.com. And until we meet again, enjoy.